Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all those around the world. Welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video featuring our brand new tier list for this new season, in which I've been waiting to drop this tier list until we got a couple changes and or buffs and nerfs and or new Pokemon, what have you. And the meta has shifted quite a bit considering the Buddy Barrier nerf. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into this. I'm going to give my thoughts and my opinions on each and every single one of these Pokemon as best as I can. Sometimes some of these Pokemon we're going to skip over because, you know, there's not much to talk about for some of them. But hey, let's dive into it and see where we're at. Now, we're going to start down here just randomly throughout the tiers. So for the last list category called Need Buffs, we should already know what Pokemon is probably going to go in here for a lot of you guys. I'm putting your boy Crustle down here. Unfortunately, they gave him back his crits with X Scissor and his Stealth Rock and stuff, but that's really not enough to make this Pokemon super viable. Now, you can run him in a score comp, but at the end of the day, it's just like, who sees that nowadays? Like, who really sees score comps? Even in actual 5 stacks and qualifiers, tournaments, whatever, we're not seeing Crustle be played in a competitive level. And I think they need to do something to make the Pokemon a little bit more relevant, give him something, and or I guess eventually some of these Pokemon may just fade off. Think about it like this, like Pokemon Unite's still a brand new game, right? We're almost to that 1 year mark. We have so many new Pokemon since it came out. Maybe he'll just get buried in the shuffle. You know what I mean? That's not something I want to see, but it's looking like it for a lot of these Pokemon down here. Especially Garchomp as well. Garchomp hasn't really seen any love for a very, very, very long time, to be honest with you. It's been a minute. They gave him that rework, and then they took away his crits, and then, you know, stuff happened to Garchomp. He's not in a very, very good place right now. Especially with, again, you would think he'd be really solid. Not saying that he's not in the hands of a god tier Garchomp player, because you guys are out there. But at this moment in time, you just don't see it. 9 out of 10, you just don't see a good Garchomp player, sadly enough. Now, the next Pokemon shouldn't really surprise anybody. Like, it just really shouldn't surprise anybody. Your boy Zeraora, this is where he belongs right now. They need to change him, let him have his level ups quicker to get his Unite move faster. Now, we all remember the days when Zeraora was really annoying to deal with, very powerful, very strong. They nerfed him. I don't want those days back, but you know what? If it can shake up the metagame to give me something different every single day I log in and play against Zeraora, sure, I'm all for it. We're going to go ahead and put Hoopa where he's due, god tier. There should be no question. This Pokemon does it all. He changed the meta. He changed the game, the way how you play Pokemon Unite when Hoopa was introduced. When Hoopa's on your team, you play the game completely different than you would if he wasn't on your squad. Thankfully, due to his portals, his trick, you accidentally portaling your team back to base when they don't need to. And I know you players are out there, sadly enough. I mean, it happens to everybody, but he just brings so much to the team, especially at Zapdos right now. Even though Buddy Berry has been nerfed, it's not like it would have made a big difference if it was still as powerful as it is now. Hoopa is still relevant in this meta, and he will be for a long time. If there was something else new comes out and takes over his spot, I think he's going to be doing just that, being god tier right now, at the end of the day. We have must-have picks for your team. Lucario, sadly enough. Blastoise. Are you ready? Some of these other Pokemon are going to surprise you. You ready? No, it's not H-Slash. You thought. Sylveon? Definitely Sylveon. I hate to be like that. Trevenant. These Pokemon right now in this day and age, in this metagame are super, super good. And then, like I said, these are just going to be my thoughts and my opinions. Now, Lucario, we all know how Lucario is, as he's been buffed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. It's like that meme for League of Legends, better nerf Aurelia. That's what Lucario is to this game. And it doesn't matter how many times you nerf him, he's still going to be where he is right now. He's still going to be super good. Somebody in the office mains Lucario. You have to deal with it. Blastoise, we all know this Pokemon is pretty busted. He's not a defender anymore. He pretty much is another attacker on your team who can do the DPS more so than your own DPS. He's really, really good at this moment in time just because he can, how you say, like hop on the back line, hop on the front line. It doesn't matter. The man's going to rapid spin. You can't crowd control them. And fun fact, Espeon drops a Unite move. Guess what happens? While Blastoise is rapid spinning, guess what happens? Does he get picked up? No. So here's the downplay to that. You're in the air, right? You can't move. You can't do anything. You're not doing anything. You're lifting up people. Blastoise is spinning around, rapid spinning you. You can immediately just die. No counterplay whatsoever. He just rapid spins. He wins. It's great. You know what I mean? Like, it's working as intended, I guess. Goodness gracious, man. Me personally, this is just me. Again, Slowbro, must have. It's either you're going to have a Slowbro or Trevenant on your team as a defender. I think these are the best 2 defenders in the entire game right now, hands down. Just because Surf Plus is disgusting. Let alone he's able to remove any Pokemon in the entire game out of the fight. Just tell them, no, you can't play, sit down, go in timeout. You know what I mean? Like, they can't do anything. Especially when you play with a good Slowbro. Because they'll go for the right targets with their crowd control. You know what I mean? And then you have Trevenant, where when he first came out, he was very, very, very underrated. I played him for a little bit. He's a defender. He wasn't going to stick with me anyhow. But at the end of the day, those people that really love this Pokemon, he has been buffed. You know, for those of you out there that do play him, there's a few of you. And those that do really enjoy this Pokemon. And he has everything. He can top lane God. He can be the best tank in the game. He doesn't do a lot of damage, but he sustains so much. He does what he's supposed to do by pushing targets away, crowd controlling, being that defender. And Sylveon, I really don't have to talk about this. You've seen my content with Sylveon. You've seen other players play Sylveon. Pokemon in this metagame is absolutely a monster. I'm telling you now, very good. Due to her healing, her bulkiness, her sustain that she has with her abilities, and the burst meta that what it is right now, she can survive the burst and dish it back at you. But not necessarily in the way you would think. It's sustained damage in which she does a really good job at doing that. And you can run so many different builds. If you're going Hyper Voice, you can run all glasses if you choose to do that. If you want to go Mystic Fire, you know, Assault Vest, Focus Band, Muscle Band, give it a shot, man. It's pretty good. But in all seriousness, some of these other Pokemon, Mr. Mime, I wouldn't say necessarily he needs buffs because he can work right now. I think a lot of people just aren't really experimenting much with this Pokemon because we don't see him that often. But I'm not saying he's on the same tier as Garchomp, Crustle, and Zeraora. But he is pretty mad, right? Let's be fair. Like, he isn't that great. And when you see him, you're not necessarily all too worried. But things can change just because, again, metagame shifted a little bit with Buddy Barrier. Well, that's just me. Go ahead and toss your boy Azumarill here. I hate to do it to him because I really like the Pokemon. I really thought this Pokemon was going to be really, really good top lane, which he can be until he gets ganked by the jungler, which typically happens in a 1-1-3. You know, you typically go top and you just poop on the Azumarill. There's not much you can do about it because you lose your crits in that situation. And you just feel very, very lackluster, especially if they get that kill on you and they take Bs. You are so far behind, you might as well be out of the game. Unless you make a ridiculous good comeback because the enemy team messes up. I think Azumarill is not in that spot to necessarily carry a game. He can help you carry if he does performs well. But other than that, he's just needs something to make him more relevant in the metagame. Like I said, I really enjoy the Pokemon. It's a lot of fun to play. But for those of you guys that actually do main top lane or do play top lane, you don't see a lot of Azumarill up there. And the only other spot that you would see him would be jungle. You know what I mean? But that's just me. We're going to touch on your boy. This is one of my favorite picks here. Greninja, must have. Like, I'm going to tell you now. Top lane, doesn't matter. Jungle, it doesn't matter. This Pokemon is very, very unstoppable. You can play the same exact role as Lucario does. And I would almost put him at God tier, personally, but you would have to compete with Hoopa. And I think Hoopa does a lot more than Greninja does, you know what I mean? So in that sense, I think he would be a must-have for those of you that actually do main this Pokemon. He is absolutely nuts. Like, he really is. No pun intended. He can score. You can't stop him. It doesn't matter how many points he turns in. He's going to get his levels up before you because you can't catch the man. He's running Focus Band, Potion, Covet, give or take, and or Stuffed Cheeks. You don't do enough damage to burst him one-on-one. So, I mean, he has it all. He really does up in top lane. Now, just like the old Talonflame, where you take that goal getter, you fly around the map, and you score as many points as you can, Greninja doesn't have to do that. You're going to chase him, he's going to get value from you, and he's going to score in your face. And that's all there is to it. He's Bullet Seed, can steal objectives. He does really, really well at that, by his way. Let alone his Unite move can jump over walls, too, to steal objectives. It's pretty solid. Now, like I said, a lot of these Pokemon, you shouldn't really have much to say about. Aegislash. Day one, I played a lot of this Pokemon. And guess what happened? Every other content creator, every average Joe would say this Pokemon was trash. Not good. You know why? Because he has a skill cap, in which a lot of children, because Pokemon does cater to younger audiences, right? But there are some older audiences that do play this game who actually, how you say, grasp it more so. You know what I mean? Better than a lot of other people who maybe this is their first MOBA. So Aegislash comes out and they're not used to, MOBAs before. They try to play Aegislash and these just seems really too difficult, right? So they just immediately write him off as bad Pokemon. Now, once people start picking him up and understand how this Pokemon actually works and how he plays, he's solid. He's very, very good. Like, very, very good. If you look at your must-have Pokemon, there is 4 defenders up there. A Sylveon and Lucario. Aegislash can fit into S tier, if you want to put it like that, or God tier, if you want to put it like that, because he does so much damage. In a 1-on-1 situation, at 1v3, 1v5, you can solo whole teams if you play this right. And it's not difficult. You see me do it. For those of you that actually play this Pokemon, you know what I'm talking about. He's very, very good in the metagame right now. Iron Head, doesn't matter. Take Iron Head, you can take either one of his other abilities. I personally don't prefer Shadow Claw in that situation. But hey, each their own. We're going to touch on Gengar here. This is just me. I think he's a meta pick. Hands down. I don't want to say he's a must-have, because that would mean that person on your team has to know how to play Gengar at 9 out of 10. What's going to happen? Gengar is going to feed, fall behind, and become useless. Because Gengar does have a skill cap, just like Aegislash. You guys may think that you can just spam Hex and Sludge Bomb. But from back in the day, people know that combination. So they're ready to Flame Charge, eject button, dodge, jump over a wall. They're ready to punish you as soon as you jump onto them because they know it's going to happen. Hex and Sludge Bomb is not as good as it used to be. So therefore, a lot of us now, we play Shadow Ball and Dream Eater since day one, me. At the end of the day, what happens with that skill set? You have to land your abilities, you have to do damage while landing your abilities. And if you can't do that, you don't become useful. You don't pop off in the early game. You can't become relevant. Now, like I said, I'm not going to put him in the must-have because that person has to know how to play him to be relevant in every single game. I would say he's a meta pick. Yes, I'm not going to say he's meh. He definitely doesn't need buffs in that situation. I think he's hands down really, really, really strong right now. Just because, keep in mind, remember I told you guys this a long time ago, Buddy Berry gets nerfed. What does that do for Aegislash, Gengar, all these other super bursty Pokemon that are already like paper? You can one-shot pretty much everybody now because they have less HP. Think of it like that. You didn't generally run Buddy Berry on Gengar Aegislash beforehand, for instance. And guess what? Now a lot of people aren't running Buddy Barrier as well. You just do more damage. Snowball easily. Clefable? Not in the game yet, sadly enough. I wish he was. I really do. Just meh. Dragonite. We really shouldn't have to talk about much. Dragonite got nerfed, low key, Buddy Barrier. It's not as strong as it used to be. They can blow up the shield really, really easy, even though you pop that Unite move to jump over to the goal. They nerfed Score Shield as well. That playstyle is kind of in the past, you know what I mean? So now you'll start seeing Outrage and Dragon Dance more so because guess what? Once he's on you, once he's stuck on you, you can't go nowhere. You're not going to be able to kite him out unless you're playing Greninja, Cinderace, Talonflame, those type of Pokemon. Serena, don't try to 1v1 Serena. It's just not going to happen. She's going to beat you every time. You know what I mean? He has opportunities to do it, but he doesn't have the outplay potential or the damage potential from Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam just has to steal the objectives. It has to secure. It has the one-shot potential. Outrage, it's kind of lackluster. It really is, to be fair. Even though you can be solid in the 1v1, it's just Pokemon Unite is a team-based game that's about rotating, getting your objectives. Dragonite does it better with Hyper Beam, with his Unite move. You know what I'm saying? But each their own. Cramorant as well. Just meh. He really is. They nerfed his other playstyle again, Dive, Air Slash for some odd reason. He hasn't really seen a lot of play competitively. Qualifiers, your general 5v5 stacks, he just doesn't see play that much. Not saying he's bad per se, but for those of you that are good with this Pokemon in the bot lane, in a 1-1-3 situation, you guys also know he can be played as a support role, and he does well if you know how to land his abilities. Other than that, that's all he's used for is landing his crowd control. And again, that sounds great, but if it's so good, why don't we see him played more? There's got to be something to him. People think he's too lackluster, too underpowered, and Order's not good with him. That's just, again, my opinion. We got your boy Cinderace. I want to put this man in a meta pick. He's not a meh Pokemon. Doesn't need buffs, give or take. He definitely needs more of a nerf for a lot of people, but he is a meta pick. Blaze Kick is just too good right now, especially when it comes to Cinderace. But there's one thing you got to keep in mind. Again, Buddy Berry has been nerfed. And sometimes people would run Buddy Barrier on him, but you got to keep in mind, if you're not running Buddy Barrier and you jump on a target, there's a lot of damage in this game right now. If you don't kill that target and get out, someone else is going to kill you because you're super squishy. You know what I mean? Your teammates aren't going to always have Buddy Barrier for you. And if they don't, you're pretty much dead. But at the same time, you can play safe. You can carry a game. You can steal objectives at Dreadnought. If you're level 9 during that fight with your Unite move, you can steal Zapdos. He has a lot of potential when you're good with this Pokemon, just by playing the field, playing the opportunity, by being safe around the map as you're doing the team fights. And it doesn't always happen because you have Aegislash now. Yeah, Blastoise that can jump on your face. Greninja just says hello because you're not going to 1v1 him. Slowbro picks you up, you're pretty much dead. But he still does a lot of damage if you perform well with this Pokemon. Hands down, can carry games easily. But he's not up there with Greninja for me when it comes to must-have picks and or jungle. Greninja, hands down, one of the best junglers in the game. Let alone he has that Surf Execute, the best playstyle for him, in my opinion. Water Shuriken is there, but it's not as good because you don't have that crowd control, the objective control, whereas Surf does. And you can use Surf and or Smoke Screen as a repositioning tool, let alone with your Unite move can steal objectives. Greninja just has a lot going on for him right now. And again, Buddy Barrier's been nerfed, does more damage, less HP, better chances to get executes off. He's just great. Talonflame. I don't want to say he's a meta pick anymore. I really don't. I want to say he's just meh. I don't see a lot of Talonflame players. I don't see a lot of Talonflames in my game. Now, when I do see Talonflame, yes, sometimes it's a little troublesome. So for me, to leave him in just meh would be a not great. You know what I mean? Because when he's in a game, he's just super, super dominant. If he gets that first objective, he can snowball the game very, very easily. Brave Bird Fly allows him to do that 9 out of 10. And when it happens, you pretty much just like, okay, that's game. Because they get the Dreadnought, and they go top lane, they get the Rotom. What are you to do? Most teams, they'll go top lane and try to contest the Rotom. And then what happens? Most of the teams on top side already have their Unite moves. You're just funneling them, more experience when you die to them. And then they get the Rotom. Talonflame is able to secure these objectives for his team in the early game, which makes him a meta pick in a lot of people's opinions. But hey, I digress. Absol, meh. He's not even meta. Definitely not. He's just a meh pick. Let's be fair. He doesn't do anything at Zapdos. Yes, he does punish aggressive lanes because most people, they just push, i.e. Lucario. Got to score when you have 5 points. Gets caught out by Absol. Absol snowballs. But it doesn't really get Absol much of anywhere. It really doesn't, because he doesn't have that late game carry potential. And again, there's some really good Absol players out there, but again, we don't see him played very often competitive. We don't see him in qualifiers, don't see him in tournaments. Absol is just where he has been for a very long time. So it's one of those things. Why play a Zoomer when you can play Absol, vice versa? You know what I mean? They kind of do the same, almost the same ordeal. They're very crit based, but they still just suck in team fights unless a Zoomer can pop off in the early game. Because he actually does have a team fight ultimate that actually is relevant. You can say Absol's is too, but nothing else of his is great inside Zapdos Pit. Venusaur? I still want to say this man's a meta Pokemon. He's not a god tier. I don't think he's a must-have. I think he is solid to be on your team. Must-have, yeah, keep in mind, must-have is like a staple. These Pokemon are going to carry you 9 out of 10. Meta picks are picks in which a lot of people are actually playing, a lot of people are actually doing really well with. I think Venusaur is one of them. Whether you're pedal dancing. Solar Beam is Solar Beam. You know what I mean? You much just go pedal dance in the bot lane in a 1-1-3 situation. Let them protect the king. You know what I mean? In that situation. Eldegoss. Personally think she's just meh. I don't think she's you must have her. I don't think she's a meta pick anymore just because your girl Blissey. Even Wigglytuff outperforms Eldegoss now. That sleep is pretty detrimental. Blissey says no to everything. You have a Blissey, a Wigglytuff lane, you have 2 supports, and then 1 DPS and bot side. That's already cancer enough to deal with. These Pokemon just do their job so well, protecting their carries. Again, Eldegoss does the same thing in terms of what? A little bit of shield? That's it, and a little heal? I don't know, man. Blissey does more damage with Egg Bomb. She does more healing overall. Wigglytuff is there to sing and be a body. Elagasse is just a puffball, man. That can get blown away by the breeze. Are you really going to choose her over the other two? Probably not. Snorlax, just meh. Don't want to talk about him. Really don't. Gardevoir, just meh. She is not a meta pick. As much as you guys are going to grill me for this one, and you guys know I love playing this Pokemon, she is not a meta pick at this moment in time. Now, that might just be due to the meta have been shifting since the Buddy Barrier nerf, but for me to put her in a meta pick, that would be consistently seeing really good Gardevoir players. Consistently. Because you don't see her played all too much, opposed of seeing, Greninja or Cinderace, Aegislash, Venusaur. You know what I mean? Gardevoir has a very high skill cap, just like Gengar. But right now in this metagame, Gengar is just doing so much damage because he can pop off easily in the early game, whereas Gardevoir takes a little while to get going. And 9 out of 10, most Gardevoir players are being played, they're playing in lane. Let's be fair, not jungle, lane. And when they're in lane, what happens? They get pooped on, they die, they get mad at you, they come take your jungle farm because they think they're going to carry, and it doesn't happen like that. They just put you further behind, and then they miss all their skill shots, or they're not taking Moonblast. It's crazy, man. Or they hold that one Unite move all game, the entire game, until Zapdos comes up. And what happens? They throw the Unite move out, and then the enemy Wigglytuff pops her Unite, or Blissey decides to be like, hey, sorry, you can't be crowd controlled. And Gardevoir's like, well, that was my chance. Why do I play this Pokemon? You know what I mean? I think she requires way too much wear-all, skill, and a lot of players, a lot of trainers, they don't really have that when it comes to certain Pokemon here. Now, in a competitive sense, yes, she can be very, very solid because generally when you're playing in a 5v5 stack, your team relies on you to do what? Do well with that Pokemon. But in a solo queue game, yeah, I don't know. Hit and miss for me. Said you why? I think this man's a meta pick. Just because you do see this Pokemon very, very often now. And he does have really, really, really good skill ceiling. Let alone he does have a high skill ceiling. And he can one-shot a lot of Pokemon by playing safe. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with is playing safe. Decidueye has that built in his kit. Don't let anyone touch me. Shoot them before they get to me. Guess what? His arrow allows him to do that. Just so. And again, Buddy Barrier being nerfed, you can 1 to 2 shot most squishy targets with the Decidueye right now with Spirit Shackle. Pretty insane. And you can do it at a safer distance, max range, more so than Gardevoir, more so than any of the other Pokemon down there in the Met tier or the need buffs. You know what I mean? He's really, really good at this moment in time. If you perform well with him in jungle, I would not recommend him in lane unless you're playing in a 1-1-3 with him in bot side. Never soloing top. So jungle or bot is the preferred role, in my opinion. I think a lot of people would agree to that because they can protect him in bot side. Jungle, you get free farm. There's a whole mess of things going on with that. A whole mess. Duraludon, he's meh. Just because the Pokemon has been nerfed a lot. He fell out of the meta. So I think he's more of a niche role now than he was before because you can just, Dragon Pulse. We all remember that. So they got nerfed, I think, twice, I believe, back-to-back patches. We don't see a lot of him played now. We do see Flash Cannon more so, but I don't want to put him up in the meta pick because not a lot of people still play this Pokemon as much as they did before. But that's the name of the game. As soon as a new Pokemon comes out, everyone cries it's OP, and then they just nerf it, and then guess what? Now you're forced to play another skill set that you don't want to play, and it just kind of falls off a little bit. But each their own. Mamoswine, he is a meh. I'm not going to say that he is must-have in form of tank and or a meta pick because we don't see a lot of Mamoswine. But in that situation, you have Ninetales here, who is meta. Definitely, hands down. Now, this does work like this, though. If you have a Ninetales in lane, I would think you'd want your partner to be Mamoswine because that makes sense, right? Those would be a must-have pair. But as a pair, yes. But by himself, no. I would put him as just meh. You know what I mean? Ninetales definitely meta. Of course. Crowd control, damage, Unite move that can steal objectives. She does it all. She really does. Her new ability allows her to dash now or jump and give her increased attack speed like it always has, but your AoE also lowers damage that you take and your teammates take that are inside your AoE. She does a lot for the team. She does a lot of damage as well. You can be very, very safe, and she can still run Buddy Barrier and do just fine. Pikachu, definitely a must-have. This Pokemon is absolutely nuts. And I know you guys probably already saw that coming when it comes to Pikachu. I think he'd be either a meta pick or a staple Pokemon for a lot of people. He does a lot of things that people don't believe right now. Electro Ball, less HP because Buddy Barrier, more executes, let alone his Unite move charges relatively really quick. But still, Buddy Barrier is your best friend on Pikachu. Just because your Unite move again charges really fast, you can get Buddy Barriers a lot quicker than somebody else can. I think he's really solid. He has stuns, AoE stuns. He's got his electrocute damage or execute damage. Very solid Pokemon right now. In all roles, actually. Machamp, he's meh. He's definitely not a meta Pokemon right now, sadly enough. Charizard. Personally, I want to put him in must-have. I really do. But I won't put him in meta. I don't think he's a staple Pokemon for a lot of teams, but I do think he's a meta pick because he does have that detriment when he does get rolling. He can carry a game by himself just with his Unite move. It's very good. And then Serena. I love this Pokemon so much. I want to put her like God tier. I really do. I want to put Gengar God tier. I really do. But I'm going to get grilled so much for doing it because people are going to disagree with that, which they probably will for majority of the tier list. But you know what? That's where she's going to go. And of course, you guys should already know Gengar is going to go God tier anyway because I'm a biased Gengar main. It is what it is. I'm very good with the Pokemon. But Serena, I think she's really strong. I really do. I think at this moment in time, she does not tie with Hoopa, nor does Gengar. I'm going to have to put her in meta picks. Same thing with Gengar, of course. He does not tie with Hoopa. You know what I mean? Or do anything as relevant as Hoopa does, per se. But I think Serena is a meta pick, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people don't know how to play this Pokemon, necessarily. Or see what she can bring to a table in terms of crowd control, survivability, tankiness, has that Unite move to remove Pokemon. I don't think she is a meh Pokemon. I really don't. I think she's really solid. She's a lot better than Absol. Hands down better than Dragonite in a situation. She doesn't have the objective secure, but she can 1v4 your squad, 1v5 your squad. You know what I mean? She does that really well with her tankiness. And then we got a brand new Pokemon that just came out. There's an Espeon. She's definitely meta pick. She's definitely a meta pick Pokemon. She's not a staple Pokemon just yet. I think her other ability, Stored Power, needs some love. I really do. But Psyshock is very good. It just requires a lot of skill to play it because you have to land it to do damage. If you miss, you're pretty much dead. I think she falls in the same line as the Decidueye, and she messes up, Gengar as well. But when it comes to God tier or a must-have on a team, I don't think that's a thing for her just yet. But who knows? The meta may shift here soon. It may not. But overall, this is what I think currently about the Pokemon Unite tier list, about what we currently have in the metagame. These are my thoughts and my opinions only. So don't roast me too bad. Let's talk about it down in the comment section. This has been Pawse Plays. Smash the like button, join the Discord. Come tell me I suck. It is what it is. I will catch you guys in the very next video. Stay on the lookout for Wednesday. Streaming on Wednesday and Thursday. Pokemon Unite. Be there for it. I will post it on the YouTube in the announcement. Catch you guys later. I'm gonna head out.